Like so many people, I recognised Raja Ravi Varma's images long before I knew who the artist was. Visiting India from a young age, you would come across these images in houses, shops, kind of everywhere in India. There really isn't any artist that has had the kind of influence as Raja Ravi Varma has. He's often talked about as India's first great modern artist. At an early age, he had this opportunity to study in one of the courts in southern India, had access to some of the Indian artists working at the time. This was quite a difficult clique of artists to break into. And while he was able to study in Indian art, being this time during the British Raj, a lot of European artists were visiting India as well. And he had this incredible opportunity to learn some oil painting techniques, which was, quite rare for an Indian artist. And you can see in some of these works, many of these even printed after his death, you see this influence of Western art in his practice. In the late 19th century, it's quite difficult for an artist to achieve that level of success. And one of the reasons was because he became such an accomplished painter, and many of the courts around India patronised him to paint their portrait. But really, he had this overwhelming desire to paint Hindu spirituality as he knew it, to depict the gods, to depict the epic stories. And he also had this great desire to share this far beyond the courts where most of his paintings lived. And this was a time when it was still difficult for people in regional India to gain access to the temples where you could see religious art. And this led to a real turning point in Indian art, because in the late 19th century he brought over the first chromolithographic press, and using cutting-edge printing techniques started recreating his paintings into what's known as oleographs, which are chromolithographic prints that are then varnished so they resemble oil paintings. Through this process, he was able to distribute his images widely, but also share the way he saw the Hindu pantheon. And really, today, this is how, when people in India often kind of close their eyes and think of the gods, these are the type of gods they see. And these became the images that people would worship in their homes, in their puja shrines. His prints continued to be printed in huge numbers, and they're seen widely across India today. There really isn't an artist that is part of the Indian psyche in the way that Raja Ravi Varma is.